Landing successful. Engines disengaged. Welcome, Commander.
Hello and welcome to Elite Dangerous, or welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Today we're going to be covering a couple of things. We're going to be doing Qwent and his modular terminals, or his invitation, and the unknown fragments for Professor Palin, which was the ultimate goal for getting getting Qwent. With Qwent, pretty much, even if you get your series ticket, you may not necessarily have the ticket waiting for you. What you may have to do is run some missions out of the Patterson Enterprises, which is what I had to do. I did a few days of missions, and then it popped up. And if you look at my influence at the top for Sirius, it's pretty much maxed out before I got the ticket. It wasn't. I didn't get it straight away, like I have done with other engineers. So anyway, you get the mission. You go and take that to wherever it is they want you to take it, and then you'll get an invitation from Qwent once the mission has been completed. And then he will ask you for 25 modular terminals, which pretty much means back to Sirius, back to Patterson Enterprises. At this point, you can do missions for anyone. Before, you should probably only be doing them for Sirius Corporation, in case you do a mission for a faction that will take some of your influence off the Sirius Corporation. In which case you're going forward a step and back too. So pretty much what I did was I just ran, until I got the invitation, I just ran Sirius Corporation missions. Now that I have the invitation, once the mission is delivered, I'll be delivering to anyone who's going to be giving away the modular terminals. But be aware, I did a week before I saw any modular terminals at all. I got absolutely nothing out of this place for a week, and then I got them all in one day. In fact, I think I got them in a space of about 2.5 hours. And then I was dropping off the modular terminals as I was getting them, so I wasn't having to carry them around with me to make myself a little less likely to get interdicted when I was running between missions or heading back to pick up some more. Qwent's about 10,000 light seconds from the entry point to Sirius, but there is a small platform over there, so probably a smaller ship, not necessarily one of the large platform ships. You'll get more chances to do the missions. And there's also another base on the planet, so you can also go there and possibly pick up some as well. I think you're more likely to get them if the faction you are working for or looking at is in Boom, then you're more likely to pick up the modular terminal. So if the system isn't in Boom, then you're probably going to need to do some more missions and try and get them. If you look at the ones that are closest to being getting to that state, and then run more missions for them to try and get it, and then you try and get them into the Boom state to give yourself more of a chance of picking up the appropriate missions. And then once you've done that, then you need to get to Qwent, start grinding away, get yourself to about between grade 3 and 4, and then you'll get some invitations, one of which will be for Palin. He wants unknown fragments, so the system for those seems to be HIP 14479, and you go there and you pretty much look for a system for the signal sources, and you'll see the ones that have the anomaly in them. I understand I didn't say that correctly. I'm not doing it again. Now, when you first get to this, or when I first got to the system, I didn't necessarily get the appropriate signal sources straight away. I think I ended up scanning the entire system, and I got a couple as I was doing that. Most of the ones to start with for the first signal sources that I found were pretty much degraded emissions, which is okay if you're looking for certain materials and then pop in and see if you need anything. But you need to save room for the 25 modular terminals. So if you're getting a little bit tight on space, I would probably just concentrate on these. You don't, the last thing you want to, mind you can always delete stuff, I suppose. Go through and get rid of some of the stuff you've got excessive amounts of. I've been trying to keep mine to rares to about 25 units and commons to 15. Is what I've been trying to do because obviously you run out of space real quick. Once you have the anomalies, then it's just a matter of because basically you're going to be going in, you're going to be finding an unknown artifact, and then from that you need to get the unknown fragments. And to do that, I shall show you what we're going to do. Is first we'll get it on board, so we'll send out a collector limpet. Let's target it, send out the collector limpet to go and fetch it. You do not want to keep this thing on board for too long. It will start to do damage to your ship. It doesn't do a lot of damage straight away, but you have got to do 25 of these. Well, you haven't got to do 25 because they generally break up. When you break them up, which you'll see in a minute, I think we only get one for this particular one, but normally you get 2 fragments, and each fragment gives you 3 units. So obviously you can generally do about 6 at a time. This one we only get 3 because it only breaks up. So we've got it on board, we've ejected it, and then we're going to ram it. Which is pretty much, okay, let's go in, we're going to ram it, and then that will break it up. It makes like a funny little cry as it does that as well. And then we will get the collector limpets to go and collect what's left. And there we go. Okay, so it's just one fragment, which will be 3 units of unknown. So yeah, so each one it has 3 units. Essentially, is the equivalent of 3. So you haven't got to get 25. So it's not quite as bad. In fact, I think I did the whole thing in around about 2.5 hours. So we have 21 now. A couple more, or even one more signal source if we can get 2 fragments out of it, and that one's done. While I was doing this, I was starting to get information that a new alien crash site had been spotted or been found, and it was over by Maya, which is where we're going to be heading once we've got our fragments to hand them into Professor Palin. So I figured what we'd do is we'd get the rest of these fragments. I'll go back and get my Python, because that's the ship I want to get upgraded, the thrusters upgraded. And then we'll, in fact, we'll probably go to the crash site first and then go to Palin afterwards and hand in his fragments. So here we are, we've come to HIP 17403, to the second of the 2 alien ships that have been, or alien crash sites that have been found this week. This one was found by Commander Shabooka, who is a cast member of the brocast, which is broadcast on Sunday on Josh Hawkins's YouTube channel. And on the off chance you don't know who Commander Josh Hawkins is and the brocast, I will put a link up in descriptions anyway. But I'd imagine you should already know who the brocast, and they're very, very good, especially on a Sunday, very entertaining. So as we're coming into the planet, I'll try and explain. Well, it's just one of the easier crash sites to find. So basically, what we're looking at the larger crater. Now this crater has a smaller crater stuck right in the top. So, and if you see, you've got the large crater, and if you look around the edge on the top, there is another crater which makes it look like a mark. So that's our first point of reference. Our second point of reference, I'm going to try and line up with, on our targeting panel we have the planet targeted, and then just above that there are, just coming into view, just above it now are 2 craters, one inside each other. And if we draw a line from that back to our smaller crater on the edge of the large one, you'll see 2 craters lined up fairly nicely. And we want to go to the one closest to the larger crater, and that is where the crash site is. It's one of the easier places to find the alien ruins, even though you can see them from a fairly low orbit. I found them a lot more difficult. Mind you, I did have the coordinates upside down. Again, I've put them on the screen so that you can see them as you should see them. But hopefully if you can use this as a reference and get yourself straight in there without too much messing at all. Obviously it's going to be a lot more difficult if you're doing this and the sun is on the dark side of the planet. So when the sun is up, you've got more. It's going to be a little bit easier to find. So we're going to come straight into the crash site. Apparently there's 2 anacondas and 2 Type 9s, and I've also had. I understand that there was a load of unknown fragments there, which meant the last 2.5 hours I've spent looking for them to be a pain in the arse, really, because I could have just gone here and got them. So good job to Commander Shabooka. Next time, if there's any chance, you can maybe, I don't know, find them a couple of hours earlier, save me a little bit of time. That would be fantastic. Just saying. I've just spent 2.5 hours looking for them, and I think when I get down there I could have done it all in the space of 10 minutes probably, but that means you can do it in the space of 10 minutes. So you can either go to HIP 14479 and get them some signal sources, or possibly if they're here you can possibly come down and collect them. I don't know how many's here, but from what I understand there are quite a few just strewn around on the floor, all around the wreckage. So as we're coming in, start seeing, there we are, start to see things on the ground. rather nice find. And apparently it was it started off with a few satellite sources in I think Erevat, Lave, and Seoul, and then from that they got it took them to another system. Once they found that system, there was another beacon inside an installation. I think that was new as well, which was another encoded message, and I think some of it was even Braille. And then by the time they figured all that out, it brought them to the planet and the system. So yeah, it's how fast the community works on this is amazing. So when you're playing this, always a good idea to if you've got a few 5 minutes, a spare few minutes, is get into the forums and just check out what's going on. I often forget and find out about it afterwards, and so I'm always late to the party. But there has been a party here, and we're not quite sure what's been going on. There's a lot of got a couple of anacondas, 2 Type 9s, and of course the alien ship. So we're going to have a closer look. In front of us we've got one of the Type 9s. It looks like it's just falling out of the sky. It doesn't seem to have any sort of indication of it skidding into the ground. It's like it's just falling, embedded in there, unless it's been sitting there a while. But there's no atmosphere on here. I don't know. We don't have storms of any kind, do we? It's so I don't know quite whether it's just falling out of the sky, but it does have damage on it. I think all of the ships have damage, but it doesn't look like blaster, or it's more like a tear, like something that's got through the hull of the ships. But there's like, I think 1 or 2 of them. It's not like they're not riddled with them. Whatever it was that hit them, maybe it only had to hit them the once. That's worrying. It's the alien ship. See, that has skidded in. You can see where it's come in and disturbed around it. You can tell what sort of direction it came in from. That Type 9 didn't have that. So that's an odd one. Just fallen out of the sky and embedded itself into... But it's still pretty much in one piece. There's the anaconda upside down, embedded into the side of the hill. More pieces of the alien ship strewn around, scattered all over the place. Got part of a Type 9. There's the anaconda. It's upside down. Again, still in. It doesn't look too damaged from here. And unknown artifacts. So yeah, we could have got them from here. That's a bit of a pain. And the ship, and they're still glowing. I mean, is that it? The noises. It makes it's the same old. There we go. It's like it's crying or something. It's really eerie. Look with the turret. Yeah, we got loads of the fragments. The one right in front of us spinning. We've also got an SRV. So, just even more curious. I mean, has that come out of one? Did that survive? Like a surviving member out of one of the ships? Because it couldn't have been out of the Type 9 that we've passed earlier, because that's embedded into the ground. There's no way of getting an SRV out of it that came out the bottom. Could have come out of that one, I suppose. He would have ejected it out the top and weighed his way down. By the time he got down to here, he died. But what killed him is, did this thing still have life in it at that point? Its last effort was to kill the last soldier? Or I don't know. It's very, very peculiar. It is very curious. I mean, was it a convoy and these alien ships attacked it, and then somehow they've all managed to come and smash into the ground together, and the surviving member got into the SRV and then died from the last throes of the alien? Or I mean, the alien ship is still glowing. I mean, it doesn't look like it's that old. I mean, how long? It doesn't. Maybe it hasn't been here for that long. Or maybe they always do glow. Because are they organic? I don't know. I don't think so. They could be, I suppose. This fragments. Let's just pick up the fragment, and it's doing damage already. So I probably should maybe get that out of the hole fairly quickly. I might as well pick up a few of these while I'm here. There's some fragments on the floor there, just on their own it looks like. So yeah, so if we get 2 out of here, that's 6, and there's 12 sitting there already. So that's half. That's half of it in the space of a few minutes. So it's very possible to get your fragments from here. In fact, I'd probably recommend you come here. I mean, you want to do go to the other system, that's perfectly fine. But I think this one may be the way to go. You get to see a nice or rather odd crash and have a look around for yourself and try and be the detective and figure out what's been going on, because it's I can't figure it out, but I am very much, I'm sure somebody will come up with some very nice theories. And grab the other one. Ejected, it's not undamaged, or hasn't said it's undamaged yet. Abandon it. I don't quite know what happened if it'd be stolen, but you're breaking it up anyway. And then once you do it as material, it's not even in your hold. Get the position to shoot that one. Hit it. Come on, you have to use a turret. There we go. Yeah. So that was pretty easy. So what's next? We've had 2 alien ruins and 2 crashed ships. And this small ship seems to have taken with it 2 anacondas and 2 Type 9s. And there was a message in the last part read, "Doom follows." So let's wander over to the other anaconda. You gotta love those thrusters, don't you? You just... So we made our way up onto the anaconda. It's not often you get to drive around one there. You'd think they'd make a decent ramp, wouldn't you? But they're quite bumpy, and yeah, it's not quite as smooth as you would hope it to be. I think what we'll do is we'll make our way over to the rear, and then we'll drop down. There's a few scar marks on this. Drop down the other side. Oh, tip over, and we got it back again. Spin around. Such a big old rook. That's a big old ship. Is that just the way the sun's on that, or is that actually, it's not powered up, is it? It would make more noise, surely. Maybe it's just the way the sun's reflecting off the vents at the back. And it doesn't look like, yeah, there's no way of getting an SRV out of there. It's all very much embedded. So it must be the other anaconda. So there's the alien ship, a little glimpse. Come and see it for yourself.